Copeland,
Here.
McCain, Wertz, Hyen,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Rust,
Here.
Hanfelder,
Here.
Trent.
Here.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Time for public comment.
I was made aware that Gerald Moser was going to give public comment virtually.
Okay, updates? Dr. Tresca?
I'll provide the quick budget update here, and then Dr. Adams will talk a bit about the enrollment update. So this is a report as of December 31st, and starting with revenues and then over to expenditures. Although we are still certainly projecting a loss in tuition and fees compared to the budget, the projected total tuition and fee revenue has increased from September's $7.375 million to almost $8 million. Other revenue sources such as office services, health services, and dental clinic are also increasing, which brings us to projections that are slightly above last year's actual costs. Indirect costs from grants continue to produce steady amount of revenue with an average of about $80,000 per month. The expenditure side, as we continue to have a greater presence on campus, our expenses are still staying in line or slightly below our expenses last year at this time. Second point is we continue to hire employees into open positions, so we are projecting an increased amount for salaries and benefits for the second half of the year. With more conferences and meetings scheduled returning to normal, more professional development opportunities are becoming available to our team members as our projection indicates. And so that's where we're at this point, and I'll open it up to any questions. Dr. Adams, if you don't mind making a few comments, please. Thanks.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I apologize, I don't have enrollment numbers for you tonight. We had some data concerns with the report. We're still researching that, so I commit to get that out to you later this week. I do apologize for the delay. Some upcoming events for enrollment. Discovery Day. On Monday, we will host high school students. They can come in and get tours. They can talk to an advisor. So kind of an open house concept to hopefully build that fall enrollment. Also, we have early bird registration. That starts at the end of February and runs through the beginning of April. And that'll be registration and tours again, things like that. Other updates, we are doing process mapping, which I mentioned earlier. We're pretty well into that project, and so we're talking with IT. There's going to be some resource commitment for that project. I don't have the scope of that for you yet, but that will be forthcoming, and that'll involve system alignment, integration, academic architecture work within the system, things like that. So I'll have more information as we do more research, as we document more processes, I'll be able to bring you more detail. We are also in the middle of celebrating Black History Month here on campus. We've had great turnout for events so far. Tomorrow we will have some blues music and musician, the history of blues, over in the Commons from 11:30 to 1. And we'll finish out that program in the following week. So lots of good movement around that. We've had great attendance, and those have been well attended. So we're busy. We're trying to, it's when you're trying to do process reengineering in the middle of an enrollment cycle, it's kind of like changing the tires on a car that's going down the highway at 70 miles an hour. So we are working diligently to make that happen and to get some information together and put a plan together so that I can come to you with a plan, a timeline, and whatever we think that financial commitment might be. Any questions?
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
One new, which was approved at our January board meeting, but Alicia Bolin, dental hygiene faculty member, started, so we want to welcome Alicia formally here at the board. That would conclude my update, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The omnibus agenda, we need a motion to approve all of them in one motion unless a board member wishes to pull one or more items from the list. Anyone wishing to pull any items? If not, I need a motion to approve. Second,
I'll second.
discussion?
Yes, I have a question. On the personnel report, where it talks about part-time and overload, is it possible, I don't know who does this report, but could we add to that report whether the person is full-time faculty or part-time? Is that a big deal?
Yes, we can do that.
You can do that?
Yeah.
So I'd like to have this one resent to me if possible, but from now on, can we do that? Is that good? Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Call for the vote?
Copeland,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Hyen.
Yes. Need a motion to adjourn and go to the closed session?
Second.
Second?
Second.
Vote? Okay. Any vote on it?
I can't see. Copeland,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot Dwight Wertz is here. And I should have called his name on the last vote. He's remote.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, Dwight.
That's okay.
Okay, we adjourn to the closed session.
Okay, ready to go back into open session? Roll call. Copeland,
Yes.
McCain, Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Rust,
Here.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Okay, action items, need a motion to approve, A, approval of grant or sponsored contract opportunities. You have a motion and a second? Okay. Any questions? If not, call for the vote.
Copeland,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hanfelder.
Yes.
Motion to approve B, organization restructure. Need a motion and a second? Okay, need a second?
Second.
Any questions?
I guess my question is this increasing our head count by one person? Is that correct? And was it considered that maybe these duties could be absorbed by others?
Yeah, so this position, so we did have a person leave the foundation, and through that attrition, there was a notice, a recognition that the opportunity to have better management of our scholarship programs was needed, just that connection between financial aid and scholarships. It was, but we need a full person for this because of the nature of the role. So we talked through it as a development office, as a leadership team, and decided it was a good investment to make. So, yeah. So the answer is we did consider that, but the weight of that role is really needing a full dedicated person to do it.
So I'm not sure I understood you say that this opening or this job opening was created by someone leaving the foundation?
Yeah, so when a person left and we're planning to fill that, that's a support position for the development office. Through that person leaving, it prompted some broader discussion around some of the other needs in development with financial aid and scholarships. So we don't have a liaison that works directly from the financial aid office with the development office in terms of distributing scholarships and tracking scholarships. I mean, it's a pretty big job, and so that has never been done effectively necessarily in the current role that was there. So, I mean, and so this is why we're bringing this position forward. So it is an additional person.
Don't most, what percentage of the scholarships come from the foundation?
Well, I mean, our scholarships come through the foundation, so.
So why wouldn't?
I mean, is that the question? I mean.
Yeah, why wouldn't the foundation hire somebody like they had before?
Do you want to talk? Yeah, well,
The foundation, it was never a part of the job description of the foundation assistant. That's the role that Ken is mentioning left. Just by nature of her abilities, she ended up taking on and adopting this role in her job. But the foundation's, sees their role as the fundraising arm of the college and the financial aid office as the distribution point. So there was, and I'm sure Katie couldn't necessarily speak to this, there was a financial aid advisor position that was open that was never filled. And rather than filling that financial aid advisor position, the discussion was, in order to support student retention and success, assigning this responsibility to the financial aid office would be in the best interest of supporting students and connecting them with the funds that are available. To your question about what percentage, I would say it's about 50-50. There are numerous scholarship opportunities through the foundation that grow daily. But there are also college funds that are awarded through the financial aid office as well.
Thanks. So it's not necessarily a new position. I mean, we're filling a position, but we're not adding an additional position. I should have been clearer on that.
The college is adding a new position. The foundation doesn't. But.
Well, we're filling there was an open financial aid position, so we recalibrated that position to focus on scholarships because that was a need that the person who was in the foundation had just naturally absorbed, but it was just too big for that position. So that position will be filled at a later date through the foundation.
What?
So we had a vacant financial aid position, so we made that a financial aid scholarship program position. So we're not filling the financial aid position and adding a scholarship position. We're just filling one position. Does that clarify? You don't look like it's clarified, Kevin.
Well, I don't know. I guess you're probably not going to satisfy me, so let's go ahead.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Call for the vote.
Copeland,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Johnson? Johnson?
Yes?
Rust?
Yes.
Hanfelder?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Hyen?
Yes. Item C, Resolution 22-11, approval and need to keep confidential closed session minutes. Motion to approve that.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Copeland,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen.
Yes. D, Resolution 22-12, approval and need to keep confidential closed session audio. Motion? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Call for the vote.
Copeland,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Rust.
Yes.
Item E, approve president request to attend professional conference or event in Chicago, I believe. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments? Call for the vote?
Copeland,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Rust.
Yes.
F, personnel.
I think there is.
We had that chart.
Yeah,
What's that?
I don't think there is anything in personnel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then G, 2022, ICCTA Outstanding Full-Time Faculty Member Award nominee Brandon Huff. Motion to approve that.
So move.
Second? Call for the vote?
Copeland,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hanfelder.
Yes.
Item H, 2022 ICCTA Outstanding Adjunct Faculty Member Award nominee Bradley Wynn. Motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Copeland,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen.
Yes. I, Professor Emerita Recommendation, Terry Hilgendorf. Motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Call for the vote?
Copeland,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Item J, 2022-2023 Career and Technical Education Programs Advisory Committee Handbook. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Call for the vote?
Copeland,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Rust.
Yes.
Informational items.
Any questions on those? Typically, you've had a chance to review those. Any thoughts, questions, let us know, and I'll try to answer those. If I can, I'll ask on a team member too. But I think the most, the one it's been on a lot of folks' mind is, of course, E, lifting the mask mandate. So we've shared that narrative with the board prior to the meeting. And the others are relatively straightforward around grants and sponsored contracts. If you have any questions on any particular ones there, let me know. And nothing around F. Oh, there was? Was it? Oh, okay, sorry. Page was that on? What page was that on, Sue?
There is no supporting document
Okay.
for it.
Oh, okay, thanks, yeah. Wasn't sure. Thank you, Travis. Come to my rescue.
So for anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Travis Jumper. I run the welding technology program here on campus. I'm also on our faculty association. I'm the technology division rep for that group. So one of the things that we wanted to do was try to highlight some of the things that we do from the faculty association, and highlight some of our programs, and kind of tell you about what's coming up and what's coming along, and what we do as faculty members here on campus. So A lot of this was wrote up by other faculty members. I'm just here basically to read it for you guys. So first of all, let's take a moment to appreciate the flexibility and adaptability of our faculty and team members. With faculty have been able to pivot with many changes that have occurred through the state over the last couple of years, obviously with all the difficulties. Faculty have taught face-to-face, virtually, synchronous and asynchronous, and blended classroom forms. So they're basically teaching students in class, online, all at the same time in the same classroom. So some have also began teaching competency-based education, which was part of the welding program that we started this semester. Faculty have kept communications open with students about all these changes, accommodating students who are not cleared to come to campus or unable to come to campus because of COVID or whatever, family issues or something like that. But we've been able to use the OWL cameras in our classrooms. Additionally, we have made sure students in our classrooms follow the mask and testing mandates. This has taken time, energy, effort from the faculty and other team members to make sure all these transitions are as smooth as possible. So from the executive committee, we want to thank the faculty and the LC team members for giving 110% to help empower our students. Next, we want to kind of highlight some of the things that programs around campus have done. So first thing we talked about was Mr. Huff just getting the ICCTA award. So we want to thank him for our 2022 recipient of the Illinois Community College Trustees Association. And he was selected for this nomination based on his contributions to student learning and his work here at LC to make this place as great as we can make it. So the next program was the dental hygiene program. I was pleased to report that in the 2021 class, the dental hygienists completed their clinical board examinations on the weekend of December 10th. The exam required students to either bring a patient or to work with a simulated patient to bring an intraoral assessment and treatment. The examination is designed to assess the clinical competence of each of the candidates, and passing the examination is required to gain licensure and is registered dental hygienist in Illinois and most other states. Program is happy to report that 100% of the 2021 class passed this important milestone exam in their first attempt, which is outstanding. So we're extremely happy for their success and recognize that each of their accomplishments would not be possible without the involvement of the dedicated group of faculty members, both full-time and adjunct, who care about the success of these students. Next is criminal justice. Jessica Noble has secured 2 grants from the Illinois Education Association for a service project for students to honor 2 Monticello alumni that were murdered in 1969, and she'll have some more details on that coming up as they kind of figure that out and get more information on that. So next is occupational therapy assistant. So Trish, a graduate of the OTA program, is more recently a fieldwork educator for LC in the OTA, passed away recently. Her family and friends named the LC OTA program as their memorial. To date, close to $20,000 has been raised and pledged for a scholarship in Trish's name. It will be a very impactful scholarship for several OTA students in the memory of that special young lady. The OTA program faculty are in complete awe and humbled by Trish's family and their kindness in the midst of their grief. Also with the OTA, the student pass rate for 2020 cohort on their national certification exam was 94%, which is greater than the national average. This increased from the previous year of 89%, so nice strong increase. The success rate demonstrates the flexibility and resilience of the students and faculty to work within the parameters of the COVID pandemic and still provide learning experience that ensure student successes. So great job. With CEDL, the Lewis and Clark Community College Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning is what we refer to as CEDL. Is hosting a special event next Thursday at the Inno Nelson campus for area educators. The first in this speaker series is Dave Knowlton, who is an educator, author, speaker, consultant, and artisan. He teaches courses in the areas of instructional systems design, design thinking, online pedagogy, and creativity theory. He also supervises and facilitates the instructional design studio. Participants should be prepared to envision, dream, and reimagine what teaching and learning can be in a post-COVID world. Our goal is, with the speaker series program, is to provide quality, meaningful professional development for Lewis and Clark staff, continue to develop our relationships with schools and personnel and districts, and showcase our Edwardsville facility and the presence in our community. So, the next one on the list is the CBE, which is something close to my heart because it's part of the welding curriculum that we've started. So that competency-based education program is where we're allowing students to, attend classes on their own schedule. So instead of having to be here on Monday, Wednesday from 8 to 12:30, they can work around their schedule. So if they're working on a swing shift, they can come in during the days for these 2 weeks and nights the next 2 weeks and switch back and forth between that. So we're trying to make our curriculum as available to our students as possible to work around their schedules to get them, the best, degree and career field moving forward. So I want to talk specifically for Nikki Munden, Jen Fuller, Elizabeth Grant, Joe Ginslinger, and Kelly O. There are our Gen Ed faculty members who have signed on and volunteered to be part of this CBE kind of pilot program. So from the welding side, we're doing it, but we've also got our Gen Ed folks that are supporting us and helping those students really get to that associate's degree so they can move forward from that point as well. So next is the Honors College. So we've partnered with SIU Edwardsville to create a new sub-program as part of the LC Honors College. It's called CODES, or Community-Oriented Digitally Engaged Scholars. This is a grant-funded program where students will receive support in their first 2 years at LC as they work in cohorts to solve larger community problems as they pursue their education. Students will continue their education at SIUE, receiving fully funded tuition, room, and board. We are currently recruiting students for this first-year program. So again, we're trying to find new and better ways to get as many students involved at the college as we can. So, also with the LC Honors College, we wanted to share that we have selected and present at the 22 International Conference on the Inclusive Museum in Philadelphia. Honors College Coordinator and Associate Professor of Psychology Jen Klein, Professor of Music Peter Hussey, and the ICCTA Adjunct Faculty Award nominee Brad Wynn will be presenting on the theme of rethinking in a museum. One of our Honors College anchor courses, the History of Riverscapes, is structured around the weekly off-campus visits, physical and virtual, to the sites around the St. Louis metro area, with the location themselves being the learning space from the old St. Louis Courthouse to the Cahokia Mounds, the Stevenson House in Edwardsville to the Rocky Ford Church, and of course, Lewis and Clark historic sites. Students have been in immersive learning experiences that is simply not possible in a standard classroom. The innovative approach has been noted by International Committee. We're proud to represent Lewis and Clark College and the LC Honors College program on this international stage. So we're getting our Honors College, out to the nation, internationally, basically. Next is child development. There was some legislation passed in 2021 in the lieu of the baccalaureate and early childhood offering at the community colleges. We now have an early childhood access consortium for equality. Some of the highlights include a scholarship for the early childhood incumbent worker, which is found on the ISAC website, transferability of the associate in applied science in child development, and awarding credit for child development courses. Credentialed Dr. Michael Sundblad is representing LC as our voting consortium member. Dr. Melissa Batchelor has also been involved in the subcommittees for the AAS transfer to the CDA credit. Next one is the Automotive program. So the Automotive Technology program was awarded $300,000 National Science Foundation grant for the development of a medium and heavy-duty program designed for diesel technology. The DTEC electrical class was offered in the fall of 21, while the DTEC engine repair and the DTEC air brakes and suspension class is currently being offered this semester. This is the second NSF grant that has been awarded to Lewis and Clark's automotive program after the $200,000 hybrid electric vehicle grant was awarded in 2012. Program has also received many donations, such as a 2015 Ford Focus from the Ford Motor Company in partnership with Roberts, right here in Alton, Illinois. The vehicle donation was based on our program having the highest completion rate in the Midwest for the Ford ACE, or Automotive Career Exploration Program. Roberts Ford is also planning to donate a light-duty power stroke diesel engine for the use in our DTEC program. Chris Reynolds was also able to secure donations of 4 large diesel engines from Analytical Engineering and Cummins Corp. Out of Columbus, Indiana. Additionally, with the help of previous graduates from the program who works for Hertz Rent-A-Car, the program was given a 2019 Dodge Challenger Hemi, Hemi engine, transmission, and complete suspension. The Hemi is being used to run live stand that students can start, monitor, test, and manipulate during the engine performance class, while the suspension components are used for visual aids during the suspension class. The LC Automotive faculty have been actively recruiting in high schools such as Career Centers of Southern Illinois, Waterloo, Freeburg, Jerseyville, Carrollton, Alton, Mascoutah, and Collinsville Area Vocational Center, sharing information about the advantages of attending LC Automotive. They're also spreading word about the first annual $3,000 Hoopty Challenge that's being hosted by Lewis and Clark's Technology Department at Worldwide Technology Raceway in the spring of '23. The driving force behind the event is that they have fun and create students and current students as they build a race car on a budget, while other engaging potential future students through social media and at the racetrack. And that concludes my 4 pages of documentation. So does anybody have any questions, comments?
Thank you, Travis. Good stuff.
Team reports?
Yes, so we'll begin with Dr. Lane. Thank you.
Are you all comfortable if I take this down for the presentation? Okay, thank you. In the interest of time, I will be brief. So some things that are new in the last month in academic affairs. One, we have started program reviews. As you know, the ICCB requires colleges to review their general education core curriculum on a 5-year rotating basis, their CTE programs on that same 5-year basis, as well as our support services in areas like adult education. So those are underway this year. We have maybe 17, I think, programs up for review this year. They're very thorough reviews, and a wide variety of people attend those. We've continued meetings with high schools to specifically meet their needs. An example, this week we met with Civic Memorial, and they're very invested in a statewide program called Grow Your Own Teacher. And we've made partnerships. Melissa Batchelor and Michael Sumblad have worked hard on this process to create these pathways for students starting. And CM is just the first school we're working with, where students will start in their junior year taking an exploratory course, and then a dual credit course in their senior year, creating a pathway to us to finish that associate's and then on to Greenville or SIUE or some other 4-year university. So we know the state, the country is short on teachers, and we're playing our role to help make sure we can get those folks educated. As you all know, we returned to campus, faculty and students, on February 4th, and knock on wood, I mean, things overall have gone very smoothly there with students back on campus. We have gotten approval from Google to use their curriculum to offer our students certificates in technology areas. We're evaluating our programs to see how they connect with the Google curriculum, and ideally students would be able to have a Google certificate as well as a Lewis and Clark certificate upon graduation. We're working a lot on reorg in terms of better aligning our CTE programs on our non-credit training. Right now, they're very separate, and we want to work better at integrating those. So the leadership team will be discussing that a lot in the upcoming meetings. And we're also looking at ways to streamline the work that it's done in our academic operations office with Jeff Coles, who manages our scheduling, who manages, what courses go in what buildings and when they're offered, who also manages our syllabi and our ICCB approvals. So we're working with Brett and the IT area on looking at some software that will help streamline that. Right now, the way we optimize our scheduling is really done by hand with myself, Jeff Coles, and the deans, and working with the program coordinators. We could really use that help with a scheduling software and a systematic technological way to keep track of our syllabi. So those things are all underway, and I'm happy to answer questions, and if not, I'll hand it over to the next person. My bedtime is rapidly approaching.
Thanks,
Any
Jill.
questions? Thank you.
All right, I will try to be even briefer than that. Just a quick update, as Jill mentioned, with students and our full return to campus. Since that time, we've only had 4 positive cases on campus, very few in quarantine. So continue to be encouraged by those declining numbers, which I know are also the trends we're seeing in our regional healthcare metrics as well. Just a quick update, Laura Inlow will provide a full presentation to the board next month at the March meeting, but just kind of wanted to let you know we're through phase 1 of our consultant agreement with Interact Communications, and thank you, David and Kevin. I know you took part in one of those focus groups. Those are wrapping up hopefully this week, and we'll have more to report out from that. And I'll just save that for next month in the interest of time, but Laura will share that. Main complex renovation, we're still waiting on, that official announcement, but Mary Schulte did receive an email today from the CDB that the preliminary meeting is set for March 9th, so they've had all the submittals for architects and engineers for the project, and so we'll be working with CDB to select the architects and engineers. And I just want to mention, we'll probably also bring this forward in more of an information item next month, but on March 25th, we'll have a full-scale mock disaster drill on campus. Pre-COVID, we were doing these annually just as some live training for our emergency operations team, maintenance crews, and security. But we're actually involving some students this year, thanks to the leadership of Donna Eaglehoff, who wanted to create this opportunity for nursing program students. So we're working with area emergency responders. Our mock disaster is going to be a hazmat incident, and I'm told there may be a helicopter involved on campus at some point, so should be exciting. It's a Friday, so we'll keep you guys updated on that. But that is it from me.
Thanks, Lori. Mary.
And good evening. I guarantee you I can be brief with my report. We've made it through another season of issuing tax forms. On January 31st, or the days prior, we issued 764 W-2 wage and tax statements, 148 1099 miscellaneous income forms, and thousands of 1098-T tuition statements. Our next payroll date of February 28th is one of our busiest payrolls of the year, as it is the first payroll that includes compensation for spring overload and adjunct hours. The payroll team has been working heavily with the division assistants and the deans to define load and work on the many details that contribute to an accurate payroll for this work. I want to give many thanks to not only the finance team members, but all the team members involved in the issuance of both the tax forms and the preparation of this payroll. I recognize that these are not small accomplishments. And as a follow-up to the actions of the previous months, the bond refinancing and debt certificate issue for the main complex renovation did close as scheduled on Wednesday, February 9th. The new money we received has been transferred to the CDB trust account, and the trust agreement is being finalized for submission to CDB. And as Lori mentioned, this afternoon, CDB reached out about Lewis and Clark representation on the Architect and Engineer Selection Committee meeting that's scheduled for March 9th. So the project is moving forward as planned. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Mary. Katie, did you want to come up and give anything else, or you're good? Yeah. Yeah, Katie provided most of her updated enrollment, so we'll jump over to development. I think Debbie's online if she wants to give us a quick update, if possible. Debbie Edelman.
Happy to. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just a quick story to share that's a little bit bittersweet. One of our alumni passed away suddenly in late January. She was a graduate of our occupational therapy assistant program, and her name is Trish Tolley. She worked for OSF St. Anthony's here in Alton, and when she passed, her colleagues got together and contacted my office and said they would like to establish a scholarship in her memory to benefit our own OTA students. And their goal was to raise $1,000 and award that scholarship to a student for the next academic year. And it looks like they are about to reach an $18,000 mark for that fundraising endeavor. Trish Tolley's husband, Jerry, works for Phillips 66, and he and his colleagues are taking advantage of the refinery's generous matching gift program, which has really given the scholarship fundraising endeavor a boost. So I'm both happy and sad to share that news with you. It will have a major impact on several OTA students in the 22-23 academic year. So I will look forward to perhaps bringing one or more of those students to meet you at a board meeting one day in the future. Other than that, we are planning for our spring appeal fundraising campaign, and our next board meeting will be in April. And that meeting is our annual meeting, so we will be presenting a slate of officers. And another action item at that meeting is always a preliminary operating budget for the next fiscal year. So I will share news about that with you at the May trustees meeting. Are there any questions for me tonight? Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Gary, quick on NGREC. Thanks.
Good, I got it right this time. I just only have a brief report. As you know, our state appropriation was increased this year, and come the first of the year, I was just looking around and thinking about the fact that we didn't have it yet. So I did make some inquiries and basically was told the check was in the mail. And my normal response to that is different from what actually happened because the check actually was in the mail. So Mary received it. I didn't, I never saw it. But even remotely, I heard a great sigh of relief from Mary that it had shown up. So we're very happy about that, and it will allow us to move ahead more aggressively on staffing up to meet these new opportunities and to further develop our new initiatives in microplastics and wetland ecology. So we're excited about that, and it's good news. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. And I'll just give a quick one as well. So I returned from Washington, D.C. Last Thursday and had actually an opportunity to visit Congressman David's office and share some of our concerns and thoughts, particularly on Pell Grants. That's one of the areas I'm really focused on and one that I think all community colleges across the country are advocating for. And this is for short-term Pels. So this is to support more of our stackable credentialing, even supporting competency-based education. Right now, that's not happening, so hopefully this legislation passes. But this is part of the Higher Ed Act, which I think could potentially be debated amongst legislators for another 100 years. So we as community college leaders hope we can get some of these little wins, in particular with short-term Pell. So that's one area of significant focus. Also had an opportunity to meet with Carol Kemsky, class of 1959, one of our Monty girls, and had a fantastic lunch. As you all know, I typically like to piggyback an alumni event or two if I'm in a city for college business. So we had a great time, and hopefully can continue to do that as we move forward. Another piece that we're really beginning to focus on is kind of a strengthening of alignment between our IR, IT, and enrollment services. It's critical that we as an organization begin to think about how we're evaluating data, how we're using that data to inform decisions. And so I'm really happy to say that Brett's put together a team. I've recommended 3 individuals to be part of that team to begin our dashboard development. I really hope to have a version of that ready for board to review in April. This will essentially allow us kind of a real-time view as to what's happening on campus, particularly related to our key directions around our strategic plan, but also keeping an eye on where we are in performance, some performance indicators such as enrollment, revenue, and how those all link to strategy. So some really good work and important work is currently happening. So looking forward to the outcomes there. I think Dr. Lane mentioned a particular one, but our West and CTE alignment initiative through our leadership team. We're also beginning to evaluate athletics and also beginning to create a broader focus on CBE and how CBE will begin looking in other programs. I think an important piece in those discussions is not so much kind of if or how we invest in these areas, but it's really a matter of looking at frameworks and approaches a little bit differently than we have in the past, but always keeping our eye on our asset, which is our people, our teams, and being sure that we're investing in people so that we're able to bring broader value to our students and certainly our community. So whether that's CTE, West alignment, whether that's athletics, or whether that's continuing to invest in our CBE model, and of course our faculty, I think we have some really good stuff happening there. And I think I'll end there and just open it up for questions. And again, just appreciate the board's support this evening, and of course everyone for hanging out with us till 10 p.m. And let's keep up the good work and keep moving forward. So thank you all.
No questions? Thank you for coming. We are adjourned.